you're out in public and your kids just won't behave.
One of the hottest tips I have is to get proactive and literally in the car, what are the top 3 expectations? I used to have my little kids actually say this back to me when they were young. Be like, so I expect listening, I expect please and thank you, I expect asking for what you want, not just grabbing what you need. And if all these 3 things happen, then we can play in the indoor mall playground, or then we can go get an ice cream cone.
Mix 2.5, the best mix from the 90s. Now it's Big Poppa in the afternoon. It's a Mental Wellness Wednesday. Life coach Rebeccah Silence online, RebeccahSilence.com. And her book, Coming Back to Life, is available now. Rebeccah, how are you?
Well, hello. So grateful to be here.
So this week, what I think we should talk about is this is for the parents now.
Okay.
You're out in public and your kids just won't behave.
Okay.
And some people have, some people have a way of getting it done. Some people just can't control their little ones for anything. Like, I know when I was growing up, what got me to fall in line when we were out in public was the bug eyes. I get the bug eyes and they would talk to me through their teeth. I knew I was in for something. I knew I was in trouble later. It was like, I knew that that's when I knew that I crossed the Mendoza line. But for general people, what's a good way to kind of help set everybody up to win, as far as like, okay, we're out in public, please make sure you use your manners, make sure, you're minding your P's and Q's and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, and when I was growing up, it was my mother's nails, like digging into my hand or my arm. I remember specifically in church, I'd get like the nails dug in. So it was silent, right? So whether you're trying to quietly tame your kids or you've just outright had it, and there's a more visibly, disciplinary moment happening, there is a way to set yourself up to win and your kids up to win. And if worse, case is happening and there's actually a tantrum, what do you do? So one of the hottest tips I have is to get proactive and literally in the car, what are the top 3 expectations? I used to have my little kids actually say this back to me when they were young. Be like, so I expect listening, I expect please and thank you, I expect asking for what you want, not just grabbing what you need. And if all these 3 things happen, then we can play in the indoor mall playground, or then we can go get an ice cream cone. But ask them, do they agree? Have them say it back to you, and don't be afraid to bribe your kids. I mean, we've talked about this on the show before. I'm not above bribery, right? Like, we work for a paycheck. So what's the incentive? What is it that if they show up in cooperation with you, you will show up in cooperation with them that they want? That little simple top 3 expectations. Here's what we get if all goes according to plan. If it doesn't, we don't get this. That alone can be game changing. And they don't have to be little, it can actually evolve as your kids get older. What are the expectations? What's the reward? Everybody's on the same page. We've had the conversation. That proactive communication, I can't emphasize enough how powerful it is and how much that can help. Now, can
I just say, as an adult, I know that I have been bribed just to go to events,
Sure.
let alone my P's and Q's.
I mean, I've got a 5-day wedding. I'm a maid of honor in October. And I was just talking to my husband about, I'll be doing wedding duties. Like, here's where I've got to be. What is important to you when we're there? Like, everybody should get their needs met in relationship, in family, all the time. And what a great baseline standard for our families that many of us didn't have growing up. That doesn't mean you can't create it for yourselves. Now, if total bleepity bleepity bleep is hitting the fan and you're in public, what do you do? This is my best coaching. You've got to drop worrying about what everybody is thinking, because they're judging you based on their filters, their experience, what they would do in the situation. Everybody's judging us when we're in leadership. And that is so important. What I just said, everybody's judging us when we're in leadership. And when you're in a situation with a child in a breakdown in public, guess what's needed? Your leadership. So
Right.
whether we're talking about professional leadership or parenting leadership, when we lead, people watch, therefore people judge. So I want us to get to this place when it comes to fear of being judged, where it's just, so what? And okay, they're judging because you're leading. That means you're courageous and you're brave and you're strong, and let them have their judgment, and you pat yourself on the back for showing up. Now, I can't emphasize enough how much it helps to actually get down on the child's level, this proximity piece. If you're, especially if they're really little, standing up and looking down on them and pointing fingers, it just creates fear. And when there's fear, your kids either escalate and lash out more, or they shut down. We don't want either one. So getting down at their level, getting calm, getting grounded, and asking for what we need to happen next. So it can just start with, let's take a deep breath. I love the game I play with my 8-year-old that I've played even with my 18-year-old her whole life. I'll say, can we do a 1, 2, 3 start over? Let's take a deep breath. Let's do 1, 2, 3 start over. If that's not working, I'm with you. You're safe. I love you. I love this line. There's nothing you could do to make me love you less. And I don't know what you need right now. I don't know what you want. There is an unmet need that is underneath every behavior. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. What I do in my private practice work that you can find more information about at RebeccahSilence.com is we get to not what the behavior, why the behavior, so that we can correct it. So your children need to feel connected. They need to feel safe. They need to feel seen, loved, and heard. And then it's your job to explore, okay, what are you needing and wanting? I want you to get your needs met. And then if they're really little, and sometimes even when it's an anxious teenager having a panic attack, or even an adult having a panic attack, they might not know what they need, right? So, and that's really important to acknowledge. And if you've been programmed to just be who you think you need to be to avoid conflict, which is almost everybody, right? If that's you, you're not alone. When someone asks you, what do you need? That can be a really confronting question. And if for no other reason to hire a therapist or a coach to get to a place where you know who you are and you know what you need in any and all moments, I don't think there's anything more liberating or freeing, right? So if your kid doesn't know what they need, give them choices. This is love and logic type parenting. There's a book on love and logic. It's extraordinary, but just, do you want this or this? Not multiple choices, but 2 choices. Do we want to take a drink, or get some food or something to drink? Do we want to go to the bathroom? Do we want to go sit on this bench? Give them power and control in the situation, because they're obviously feeling powerless and out of control. So give them options, give them control, but try to limit it to 2, max 3 choices. And then just let them know there's no shame, there's no punishment, you're not wrong or bad, and this isn't working. We can reset like that. 1, 2, 3 start over. And a lot of this is preventable if you've had the conversations ahead of time, right? And I mean, I even do it with music in the car. My child and I alternate who's picking the song. I pick the song, she picks the song. Bring them into the conversation, help them understand what's going on. Another great strategy, just to get ahead of all this, is on a weekly basis, talk to your kids about the week coming up. What's the lay of the land? When are you around? When are you not? What are their activities? What is going on with family that's a relatively non-negotiable that you want their participation in? Where is their free time that they get to choose what they want to do and how they want to spend their time? Have that conversation and as many proactive conversations as possible. And you staying grounded and neutral, you being very present, you asking them what they need and offering choice so that they have power and control again. That's how you navigate public breakdowns and hopefully prevent them.
The name of the book is Coming Back to Life. It's available wherever books are sold. And of course, online at RebeccahSilence.com. Life coach Rebeccah Silence on a Mental Wellness Wednesday. Great stuff as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Enjoy your family, even when they behave badly. Love you all. See you soon.